Hello everybody, I'm Mango Thunderslice, and today we're talking about the passing of John McCain, the war hero, the ultimate American icon of masculinity and strength in America and military force. Yep, it's quite a farce how much our entire media has become just one giant, unending, Trump-bashing extravaganza. Like, it's so tedious. And I have to believe that the rest of the country is basically can see this as well as I can, and everybody else, you know, it's even the people who are diehard liberals at this point, like, they're enjoying the economy doing well. They like keeping more of their, you know, money in their pocket and not giving it to taxes, right? You know, the wars are winding down. Peace in North Korea and Syria, you know, is about to get resolved, you know, precluding another, you know, false flag terrorist attack, chemical attack, right, enacted by the rebels, but, you know, blamed on Assad. You know, it's like, you know, speaking, you know, it's like John McCain, every time he went over to Syria, it was like, you know, a couple weeks later, there was a mysterious chemical attack, and blah, 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 oh my God, he's gassing his own people, right? It's like, you know, in general, I try and show respect for the dead, but you know what? I don't think it's very respectful to anyone at all to, you know, lie about someone during their life and then basically lie about them once they're gone. Like, you know, I believe in being honest, and you know, I don't believe that life ends at death, right? You know, there's the karmic cycle that keeps on turning, and who the hell knows what old John McCain is going to be doing next time around. But, you know, I think it's more respectful to actually look at what a person did in their life and recognize it for good or ill, right? And, you know, not just because somebody dies. Like, you know, when Adolf Hitler died, where people like, oh, you know, well, I'm sure there's some people, but it's like, just because somebody dies doesn't mean that all of a sudden everything they did in their life was totally perfect. And for John McCain, he did a lot of evil shit, okay? He's a very, very evil man. He was not a good person. And I'm not gonna, you know, just oh, well, now he's dead, and so we'll all just remember him as a great person because he's dead. Like, that's just stupid. Remember someone for what they actually did, like, or didn't do, you know, but don't make up this fake, you know, story of, you know, especially for the people, you know, on the left and the liberal media. It's like, you guys, you hated John McCain in 2008. You were against him all the time until he started going against Trump. And now it's like, you know, because that's the thing. The red team versus the blue team was a charade, right? And, you know, John McCain was the ultimate kind of icon of the red team charade. And there's still plenty of these other fake-ass, you know, red team, you know, schmarmasaurs in the Congress and throughout Washington, D.C. But it's, you know, he was controlled opposition, right? And that's, you know, he was a loser, right? Just like Trump said. He ran against Obama, and he's like, Obama's a good person, we just disagree on a few things. It's like, same thing with Mitt Romney and all these guys. They're just so fake. And there's a reason that nobody gave a shit to show up and vote for him, because they were lame. They're freaking lame, and they don't inspire confidence because they're not inspiring, because they're not true. They're false. They're fake. Right? Trump inspires confidence. He inspires people because he is real, right? He inflames the left and, you know, all these, you know, jelly bean-minded individuals. Oh my God, his words are so shocking. It's like, you think words are shocking, but actions, like, do you really think that actions, words mean more than actions, right? Trump says a lot of things, but Trump has never, you know, led to the countless slaughter of people all across the Middle East and the world, right? Trump is not a warmonger. Trump, you know, to the best of anyone's knowledge, has never murdered anyone. Like, we can only imagine the total number of skeletons in old man McCain's closet, right? And his funeral, and it's going on for a week, and everybody's just, oh my God, John McCain. All the Democrats come out, like Obama's sitting next to George Bush, and Michelle Obama is sitting next to Georgie, and basically they're holding hands, and all these deep staters passing notes, and just basically, you know, just hanging out. It's like, you can tell that this was not a good person by all the people at his funeral, right? This is like the deepest of the deep state, the scummiest of the slime balls, right? And, you know, I'm not gonna pretend like he's just a war hero, right? I might lean conservative, I might be voting conservative, but in no way am I gonna play this game of the neocons, of, you know, just this pomp and circumstance without any real content or honesty. I mean, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. I'm not in favor of the U.S. war machine going rampaging across the planet for, you know, John McCain's idea of democracy and freedom, right? I mean, realistically, yeah, the whole Syria thing was a metastasizing of the cancer that was started in Libya, right, with Hillary Clinton and, you know, the NATO, you know, alliance, right, went in, took out Gaddafi. The emails came out now showing that it was about Gaddafi trying to help the continent of Africa and institute a gold-backed dinar currency for the African continent, bring untold prosperity to the people of Africa. Well, that was never meant to be, because old Hillary and people like John McCain and, you know, they just, they didn't like that. So they went in, they took the gold, they, you know, performed unspeakable horrors on old Gaddafi himself. And now, whereas you once had the most prosperous nation on the continent of Africa, Libya, now it's literally an open-air slave market. They are trading slaves, right? So Hillary brought back slavery, right? It was literally her fault, and John McCain, right? And then once they had this pit of chaos, they, you know, basically had all these weapons exported to Syria. They start funding the rebels, aka Al-Qaeda terrorists, you know, to try and unseat another, you know, democratically elected leader in the form of, you know, Assad, right? And it's just like the end of John McCain, right, is the passing of the era of the neocons. It's not coming back, okay? That wing of the red team is 6 feet under in a pine box, right? Just like John McCain is. And that's a wonderful thing. That is such a good thing that I have nothing but pure gratitude for. So it's like, you know, again, I'm not going to put on a false face and say, oh, poor John McCain, now he's dead. It's like, this guy came back and was the single vote to prevent the repeal of Obamacare just to spite Trump. Like, what a douche. What a major douche, right? And it's just like, yeah, this infinite empire, right, you know, Triple Crown system is coming to an end. And again, you know, it's you know, it's Rome, London, and Washington, D.C., the Triple Crown, right? So you've got the spiritual, the financial, and the military power of the Western Empire, right, seated in those 3 cities. And, you know, between them, they influence the majority of people on the planet. But in the age of the internet, just like it says in the Bible, basically everything that, you know, is hidden will come to light, and everything, you know, that is unknown will be known. And that's what's happening now, right? It's interesting with the whole QAnon thing, right? You know, and I haven't been covering QAnon since it kind of went a little crazy and, you know, said, trust the plan, we're going to bomb Iran. I was like, whoa, 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 okay. That's kind of what John McCain was angling for. I'm not really about that. I saw a car driving on the freeway the other day with a huge Q painted on the back and then Anon right next to it. And I was like, that's great, you know, because I like the QAnon folks, even if I'm not gung-ho about the QAnon, you know, posts anymore. I like the spirit of the QAnon people, because if you can wrap your mind around the simple fact that these people in Hollywood, these people in high places of political power, these people throughout the media, they are so unfathomably degenerate, right? And they are pedophiles, right? This whole thing, it's coming out in spades for those who are paying attention. Between James Gunn, right, who was the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, he got sacked because of mass outrage on Twitter over his basically thousands and thousands of dark pedophilic tweets on Twitter. And, you know, people want to say, oh yeah, he's just making jokes. He's not a comedian. He's the director of children's movies. And I'm sorry to those of you who think that Marvel movies are not children's movies. They definitely are. They're just Pentagon-directed children's movies, right? And they are so dark. And it's interesting because John McCain even had a foundation, like a child, to address child trafficking. I remember, what was it? Back in 2016 and 2017, Ashton Kutcher came and testified in front of Congress about human trafficking. And one thing that you can kind of pick up on with these darksiders and these deep staters and these evil people is that in order to mask their evil, they set up these non-profits, right? To make, they put on a front, right? They got all this charity going on out here. Oh yeah, I'm such a good person. Look at everybody look at me doing all these good things. The reason they spend so much time and effort and energy and money putting on this whole front is because behind that facade is all evil shit, baby. It's real bad. And, you know, with Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation, the Clinton Global Initiative, right, 5% of money went to actual, you know, donations, right, and the rest of it was just a slush fund. Meanwhile, they're trafficking children, they're basically destroying Haiti, they're basically, you know, it was a massive child trafficking organization under the Clinton Global Initiative. That's what it was all about, right? They use war, they use disease, they use just deception and the media to basically create these crises, whether it's, you know, in Africa with Sudan and, you know, all these different places. Like, it's such a rabbit hole when you dive down in each of these places. And what, Bosnia, right, and the UN, right, from, you know, it's Southeast Asia and in Haiti and in South America, right? They create these conflicts, right? And they get human, like, trafficking out of it. They take children from these war zones, right? And, you know, do all sorts of horrible things. They sell them into slavery, right? So these people are talking about Trump like he's literally Hitler, right? Meanwhile, they are literally facilitating the trafficking of human children. And I have absolutely nothing respectful or positive to say about anyone who participates in that scheme. And if you do, that's great. You're living in an illusion. And you know, I don't care for the neocon delusion. Meghan McCain gets up there. Oh man, she's really her daddy's daughter, right? And she's just meh. Trump is evil, man. America the America of John McCain never needed to be made great again because it was always great. Yeah, right, okay. It's like, you know, I might have confidence in this country now, but, you know, there are definitely things about this country that were going very, very wrong. And it wasn't just Obama, it was Bush Jr., and it was Bush Sr., and it was Bill Clinton, and it was Hillary Clinton, you know, and yeah, I revel in the downfall of the entire cabal, right? It's really happening. And I saw an article on Zero Hedge that was like, you know, like, the passing of John McCain doesn't matter at all because the deep state will replace him. Well, you know, I can see where they're getting at with that, but I think it really does matter. John McCain was a total icon of the deep state. He was absolutely an integral component of keeping this whole Middle Eastern shitstorm, you know, keep turning. And his passing, even if they want to try and replace him with some other deep stater, this is the point, you know, whether it's the QAnon or just the general walk away movement, the blacks, you know, basically waking up to the Democratic plantation and becoming more conservative, you know, even during the whole, oh my God, separating children from the families thing, right? Like, Trump gained like 10 poll points and approval from Hispanic Americans, right? Because people are waking up to the bullshit. This shrill hysteria is so over the top. Like, you know, Spinal Tap, this one doesn't go to 11, it goes to 15.5, right? And when you got a funeral being used as a political, you know, pulpit, and people taking, you know, pot shots at the president at what's supposed to be a solemn event and remembering the life of a man, I mean, it's just a perfect snapshot of how fraudulent these people and their ethics and morality and, oh, freedom and democracy shtick is. And, you know, how just how desperate they are, really just how desperate they are. Everyone is going full bore against the president because he is actually a threat to their degenerate lifestyle. The president actually is shutting down these human trafficking networks. He is actually stopping the war machine, right? You know, and don't want to speak too soon, knock on wood, with the whole, you know, so Idlib is the final, it's a city in Syria, and it's the final stronghold of the ISIS, or the Al-Qaeda terrorists, the John McCain and Hillary Clinton and all these other schmarmasaurs supported in the Middle East, right? They are holed up in Idlib, and Syria, the Syrian government and the Russians are about to go in and take the place and liberate it once and for all, right? And, you know, so keep your eyes out for a false flag chemical attack, right? Even Russia's like, yeah, it's been so many false flag chemical attacks at this point. Russia comes out and is like, you know, keep your eye out, just saying the same thing, like, okay, now that we're about to do this, like, keep an eye out for one of these fake chemical attacks, just like last time. Like, you know, they never found any chemical weapons residue. It was totally a fake event. And, you know, this is always when they happen, is when the Russians and the Syrian government are going to liberate these towns and cities from the Al-Qaeda terrorists, and then, oh my God, it gassed us people, and, you know, Trump, to save face, fired a bunch of missiles the last 2 times, but I think each time we've kind of put him in his place when he did that the last 2 times, right? And I think he understands, like, and it's almost like he did it to show the Israeli lobby, you know, and all these schmarmasaurs and neocons and whatnot, like, hey, even when I satisfy what you guys want, the American people will excoriate me. They will chastise me. They will bitch slap me, as in the terms that I used last time. You know, because my support for the president is not unconditional, right? As long as he basically continues on the path that he's on, he will continue to have my full support, because, you know, as long as you're not expanding the war machine, shutting down basically these human trafficking rings, you're doing good for the economy, taking off the regulations, and just the cultural war, really just the endless punching in the face of the entire communist media and all these dumb celebrities that think anybody gives a good goddamn what they have to think about politics. Like, oh man, it's just really great. I love to see people waking up. You know, again, we can talk about dark things without getting all doom and gloom, you know, and because we're in control of this thing. We're flying the ship now, right? And we are so blessed to have a president like Donald Trump, and thank God not only that Hillary lost, but thank God McCain never got in there. Thank God Romney never got in there, because, you know, even if I might be voting a straight red team ticket this time, you know, I am not just unqualifyingly supporting all these, you know, douchebags that are still on the Republican side. You know, we need to be qualified and not just be rah, 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 our team go. You know, we need to follow the truth and speak the truth, and basically the truth will set you free, right? So I don't know, maybe they'll still be burying McCain for the next 2 weeks just to get in some more, you know, few dozen pot shots at Trump, and, you know, whatever, man, whatever. The people can see it, they're waking up, you know. Trump has, you know, almost 40% approval from blacks now in America. I mean, the more they try and push at this point, they're pushing the knife right into them, and it's just they think that they can just keep ratcheting up the hysteria and it'll magically just flip and people will be, okay, yeah, I guess Trump is Hitler and I just never knew it. Like, there are people who think that, but they're idiots, and everyone else can see that they're total idiots and they're raving, maniacal, ideological leftists, and nobody should take them seriously at all. And yeah. That's my video today. I meant to talk about some other things, had some good conversations with other subscribers on the last video. We'll get to that. Tomorrow's a holiday, so maybe I'll record another one then. But hope you guys are having a good Labor Day weekend, and I will see you next time. Cheers.